Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video I'm going to talk to you about how to get big data and data science jobs abroad. This is specifically for people staying in countries who want to move out to other countries to get jobs, specifically to more advanced countries such as European countries, US, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Korea, Japan and so on. So let's get started. Okay, so when we talk about job search, we'll obviously have to make a difference about job search for experienced candidates and freshers, right? It's always different. It's always easier for experienced people to get jobs, and for freshers it's little more difficult. But it's more difficult, way more difficult, I would rather say. So it's a bit easier for experienced professionals. So those who have a couple of years of experience, they're in a good position to say, let's say, apply for jobs abroad. Okay, so people with at least 2+ years of experience, and preferably with less than 15 years of experience, are better placed. Okay, so having too many years of experience also works to your disadvantage. Okay, but if you have anywhere between 2 years to 15 years, it's always perhaps the golden period of your career where everybody is simply be waiting for you. Okay, if you have high quality experience. So people with experience, why is it a bit easier? Because they have real world experience, right? Not just the book knowledge they have, they also have the practical knowledge to build things from scratch, takes more responsibility, manage teams, and so on. So they can do multiple things, and they have and most importantly they have the real world skills or more practical experience, which is what is needed in the industries. And the good thing about companies is that they simply want people who can come and be productive from day one. Okay, so that's the reason why for experienced professionals, it's a bit easier to get jobs, whereas for freshers, it's a bit risky for the companies to hire them. But let me tell you, unlike in countries like India, or I don't know what's there in China or in other developing countries, in the developed world, especially in Europe, given my experience, I'll tell you that they give a lot of opportunity to freshers as well. Okay, so they do not have the concept of this campus placement like we have in India. Okay, so that's the reason why they have more job opportunity for freshers, and they always welcome freshers as well. But uh, as a fresher, you need to showcase your practical experience, and the way you can showcase your practical experience is by gaining experience through internship. So you need to do a lot of internship. You need to do variety of internship while you are doing your degrees. Okay, so doing your master's or bachelor's degree, ensure that you have some high quality internship experience. Okay, even if you somebody gives you some online intensive experience, or not necessarily, I mean, because getting internship is also a bit difficult. So just work with people who have some practical experience and gain some experience out of it and write it on your resume. That always helps a lot. That's one important thing to remember. So as a fresher, ensure that you have a couple of project experience. If you do not have intensive experience, make sure that you actually do projects on your own, put it on GitHub, or write a blog about it and so on. So it always helps. So creating good profile, it's a point which I cannot stress more. It's the most important thing, because that's the thing that your employer will take a look at before shortlisting you for interviews. The first point I'll discuss is project experience. As I've already said, project experience matters more than your certifications and training. Often people spend a lot of money and time in doing certification and training, and a lot of learn a lot of theoretical stuffs, but seldom do they put in that much of time or money on project experience. But project experience matters a lot. Okay, you should know how a project is actually gets implemented, gets a project starts and is carried out, and then it gets implemented and so on. So end-to-end experience is very important. So in your CV, make sure that you write in detail about your project experience. If you are a fresher and you have a couple of project experience through internship or through your through just by yourself, you have done few projects, mention those projects. Okay, more than your percentage of marks or grades in your college university, what employers will be looking at your real world skills, so that they can deploy you in projects. Good CV is so important. Again, you should highlight practical experience more than your theoretical experience. That's important. Mention the programming languages that you know, the tools that you know. So language, uh, the tools and languages that you have used in your projects, how you started from the scratch to the implementation. Always given a context as well, and what business problem we were trying to solve through the project. So always mention that as well. So all of these things matter a lot. Okay, so ensure that highlight these points. Uh, for experienced professionals, it's also important to mention things about domain specialization. So as an experienced professional, people will be expecting you to be a specialist in a particular domain. If you are from banking domain, you should be knowing a lot about banking, and then should be able to use your technical skills to solve problems there. So ensure that you are a specialist rather than a generalist. Okay, but as a fresher, it's a bit difficult to be a specialist. So you have to be a more of a generalist, right? You would be expected to know tools and programming languages and machine learning techniques and databases and so on. So that's what is expected from freshmen, right? But the ones who are experienced enough, they need to know a lot about domain. So it's always good to emphasize more on a one single domain. Even if I worked in 5 domains, it's always good to emphasize where you specialize in. If you're specializing in banking or you're specializing in retail or e-commerce, just put enough emphasis in that particular domain. Don't just write about everything. I mean, you probably could write things, additional things, but highlight more about a given skill or a given or a very specialized niche area. Okay, because that's very important. Otherwise, the employer or the HR person who is looking at your CV will not know what exactly is your core skill set. Okay, and then it will be very difficult for him or her to shortlist your CV. Okay, and the first screening always happens by the HR, and they need not be that not necessarily are the technical people, so they probably won't get much unless you specifically mention the core skills or specialized skills. Make sure you have good social profile, especially if you're applying abroad. It's always a difficulty for employers to avoid fraudulent candidates, people who do not have required or requisite qualification or skill sets. So it's always a risk for companies to hire from abroad, from other countries, because they need to sponsor your visa and do all kinds of paperwork, and it's a big deal for them to hire from abroad. They will be paying for your relocation and so on. So ensure that you have a good social profile, LinkedIn and GitHub. You should start your LinkedIn profile as soon as possible. Have as many connection as you have. Make sure that it's good as in you have details, all the details on your profile. You ensure that you do not have grammatical or language mistakes on your profile. Have your photo and everything. So social profile is so important. Okay, some companies do ask for Facebook profile, Twitter profile as well. Okay, but LinkedIn profile is the most important thing. GitHub is another social profile which is fast becoming a very popular thing among the tech people. So if you have any project experience, make sure that you put them on GitHub. You can put code and you can write a blog about it. on GitHub, and you can share it across people. In fact, there's some companies who in fact are asking for, compulsorily asking for a GitHub profile. They want to see how good your code is. Okay, and that helps them to shortlist candidates. Okay, then how do you search? How do you search jobs? Okay, how do you go about it? Okay, now that you have good social profile, good CV, you know how to, what to keep in your CV, what not to. How do you go about searching jobs? If you're looking for jobs abroad, I'm assuming you are a candidate, from let's say Africa or India or China, countries where the salaries are less, opportunities are less, competition is way more for jobs, and you want to move to more advanced countries such as European countries, UK, US, Canada, Australia, and so on. As you probably know, getting a job is not just the thing in this country. It's also the visa, right? So visa is equally important. Without a visa, you cannot work in a country, right? And you probably would be needing a visa. Most people from these developing countries need a visa to uh, work in a different country, right? In European countries or in US, Canada, and so on. If you are already from a country where you have work permits, so for instance, you are from EU, okay, you are from Poland or Romania, you want to work in Germany or Netherlands or UK, you probably don't, in fact, you do not have an issue with the visa thing, right? So I would suggest that you prefer Europe over US, because getting a Europe visa is much easier than getting a US visa. Okay, so visa sponsorship is much easier. So companies in Europe, they can sponsor your visa much more in an easier way than probably companies in US, okay, which is far more difficult, right? You can also explore other areas where you can get visa easily, which are like Canada, countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand. These are some of the other good options. In fact, you can get permanent residency for Canada and Australia. I don't know about New Zealand, but these two countries quite easily. Okay, it's becoming more difficult though nowadays, but it used to be quite easy some time ago. You can also explore options in Singapore, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, where the salaries are quite good. But again, getting a visa is equally challenging there. So, how do you then start searching? Okay, what should be your next first step? If you're already working in a multinational company, you are working in an MNC, and they have international locations, so it's always good to try an internal move. For instance, if you're working for, maybe let's say Barclay, okay, you are working for Barclay, then from moving from Barclay India to Barclay UK is easier. If you're working for, let's say, UBS, moving from Barclay India to Barclay London is much easier than applying directly in UK. So always try an internal move. If you're working in consulting companies, okay, IT companies, consulting companies like Accenture, IBM, Ernst and Young, KPMG, it's always good to take their help, because they have expertise, they have clients all across the globe, so it's always easier to have this internal move. Okay, but this is not a luxury with freshers, right? I'm going to talk about how as a fresher you can also apply in these companies. So the first thing to do is simply do a Google search. As a fresher, or you're not working in companies where you can do a internal move, or internal move is becoming very difficult or very challenging. In that case, you simply do a Google search. Okay, and okay, let's say Google search would be, okay, big data jobs in London. Okay, and you'll get so many results, right? Simply go there, right? You go to Glassdoor, and such companies like Indeed. Okay, even on LinkedIn, you'll get so many job advertisements. Okay, what you do is that you simply go and apply. Okay, oftentimes we hold ourselves back saying that, okay, probably nobody's going to look at my CV, because it's very difficult. They don't hire, and we keep hearing these things, right? And then we keep getting disappointed about, thinking that it's not going to work for us, but it does work. There are So many people who have found jobs from China, from India, from Africa, in countries like Netherlands, Germany, UK, and Portugal, and so on, or even Ireland, and so on. So you keep applying for jobs. Okay, keep applying as many jobs as possible, and if you have email ID, for instance, in some job advertisements, you have email ID of the HR person or the lead. Okay, if that's the case, then always write an email and write about you in brief and why you are interested in, and talk about it, and talk about it in detail, and then always mention your phone number or email ID properly so that they can talk to you directly. So you do that. If these things are not available, because in most jobs you won't find the email ID of HR professionals and the other people in the company, so what you do is you simply apply to the apply button. Okay, so ensure you do that. What else you can do is you can also register your CV in job sites like Indeed, eFinancial Career, Monster, CB Library, and such international. I mean, there are tons of, like, at least find out the most famous one, 10, 15 ones, have your CV there. Okay, and keep on updating it every month, at least once a month, so that people will be happy to know that you're looking for relocation, if you're looking for job change. Okay. In LinkedIn also there is a feature called you're looking jobs. You're open to finding new opportunity or getting new opportunity. Okay. There is a option that you can choose. Okay, in your profile you can do that. If you're looking for in a particular location, that also you can do. Okay, so that the recruiters will get to know, the HR professionals, the consultants will get to know that yes, you are one of the potential candidates, and then they will contact you. So if you're looking for jobs in London, okay, choose the option that you are looking opportunity in London, or in UK or US, whatever, wherever you are looking opportunity. So make sure you use that feature in LinkedIn. Leverage connections are most important in the world we live in. As I've already talked about it, that have your LinkedIn profile and ensure that you connect with as many people as you can. Okay, and then you can directly write to people in those countries also. You can simply write to them and ask them if they can refer you. It's a bit difficult without knowing. People uh, won't be agreeing to say give you as a reference, but sometimes people do. Okay, so if you're publishing things on LinkedIn, right? You connect with people and you're publishing articles or blogs on LinkedIn, so people will know your competence, and then you can ask them to refer you. Okay, so that's possible. Then people have some idea. Okay, you know things, you're good at something, and so on. HR consultants, they're searching for jobs on LinkedIn. They're searching for jobs in many other places. Try to find them. Okay, it's very easy to get the email ID or phone number of these people. Okay, and talk to them directly. Okay, write to them that yes, I'm looking for a location, I'm looking for jobs in these places. If you have opportunities coming in, please let me know. Okay, so it's good for them. It's a win-win actually. It helps you, it helps them as well. They get commission by employing by sort of say when you get a job in companies, and it helps you as well. So it helps both. There are also agencies who, or the outsourcing agency or consultancy, who specializes whose this agency specialize in hiring people from abroad. Okay, so you can do a Google search and there are so many. Ensure that you do not fall prey to fraudulent agency, but you can easily find whether agency is fraud or is a good one. So okay, do a bit of a research about them. Don't give them money or anything, but just give them your profile, talk to them, and you can always be in touch with them and contact as many as you possibly can. There's some other important things to remember while searching for jobs. Uh, okay, the harsh truth is that you probably won't get a response from many places, in fact most places. If you apply in 100 places, probably you'll get a response in 5 places. That will be a good bet. If you're getting more than that, you are like absolutely lucky. So I would suggest that keep applying. Okay, apply in as many possible as you can, and don't stop applying. Okay. Do not have a long CV. This is a practice in many countries, having a very long CV. That's not very good, or considered very good in advanced countries. So have just 1 or 2 pages of CV. Have your good main information, concise information, and in just 1 or 2 pages. And ensure that the English is good. Okay, and have it in English. That's obviously, and then ensure that at least it's reviewed by somebody who can correct grammar and things like that. Never put anything fake. Okay, is a big no. Okay, it's a red flag. Don't keep anything fake. If it looks fake, then it's a red flag. You'll never get hired. And it also, because they keep saying, these consultants keep sharing CVs with themselves. So if you are considered fake by one consultant, it will affect your chances in many ways, because other consultants will also not going to consider you. Improve your communication skills, the most important thing in the developed world, where soft skills do matter a lot. And soft skills, when we talk about soft skills, not just about your ability to speak in English. Okay, that's obviously one of the many soft skills that one should have. Your negotiation skills, confidence, your ability to work with others and work in a team, all those things matter a lot. So ensure that you highlight these things when you talk to your employer, that yes, I can talk to people, I can negotiate things, I can take take on stressful tasks and complete it, and so on. So talk about those things as well. Know a bit about the culture. If you are applying in Germany, do a bit of research about the German working culture, know a bit more about the companies there and what all companies are there, know a bit about the cities and in Germany and so on. So it's always good to have some knowledge about it, because oftentimes companies from abroad uh, have hesitation to hire from other countries, because they think that they will not be a culture fit. There will be a problem with a different culture, and it's very difficult for the others to come and adjust. Okay, so if you already know about the culture of the country and can give the confidence to the employer that yes, I can adjust to it, then it's not going to be a big deal for them. Okay, so ensure that you do a bit of research. And lastly, do not stop trying. Okay, uh, let's say you tried for 6 months, you didn't get many calls or responses. Do not stop there. Okay, keep on trying. Okay, it takes time, but let me tell you, the incentives, or the at least financial incentives, also in terms of good experience, is quite good in these developed countries. So never stop trying. Okay, keep on trying, I would say, and trying in different ways. Okay, and as I've said, the most important thing is to get project experience and keep on applying. Okay, here in our channel also we'll keep on posting different opportunities in different countries, including the developed countries. So subscribe to our channel, share our videos, our channel details with your friends who are looking for jobs abroad or looking for jobs in your own country. We'll be posting many job profiles, we'll be posting many things about technology, big data, data science, AI, and so on. So thank you for watching.